Do y'all hear me? That's not an actual fact. That's just what you're strong-minded about. But people can be strong-minded about evil. And that's why the world is the way it is today. Because people are strong-minded about evil. Until we get strong-minded about black supremacy, then that's always going to go, it's going to rule. Because we're defeated by them, whatever mentality or attitude they have. We go with it. Yes, capitalism. Yes, I see what you're saying. No, goddammit, I don't see what you're saying. Black supremacy. So it's the strong-minded individuals that cannot be defeated. That is the quality of creating world change. Not some mere political situation. Some mere terroristic act that creates propaganda that leads into world change. Some small transitional move that we make that's just going to send it all up and it burst in flames. It's the enduring, strong mind. You feel me? The consistent, solid, unwavering, strong mind that will be the future. All of the forces of resistance will be neutralized as strong minds move through space and time. That's a fact. Black supremacy is only for the strong-minded. Period. And whoever can stand and have that strong mind are valuable to black supremacy and world change. Many people say, I want to see the world change, but it's weak-mindedness. They see negative situations that have caused them to react. And they're reacting temporarily. They can't stand on black supremacy all day, every day, 24 hours out the day. They can't do it. Because their mind ain't that strong. One commercial, one television show, one billboard. Somebody say I'm hiring. You know they hiring down there. You know this is going on. We lost them right there. The other day they was mad about the conditions of the world, weren't they? Something happened tragic and they was upset. But their minds was not strong enough to stand in, as, and through the change that they want to see in the world. So black supremacy is for the strong-minded. So much emphasis has been put on the physical nature of things. That's the problem. All the physical world is subject to change. But you know what it will change over to? The thoughts of the strong-minded. That's where we know it's going. You want to know where your neighborhood going to go in the next 3, 4, 5 years? You ain't got to read the newspaper. The strong-minded go determine what it's going to be. So all the physicalness that's going on in the community, well, we got guns and we got these thugs with us and all that. If all that is based on weak-mindedness, it's on its way out the door. It's on its way out the door. Bottom line. And we can watch it. Grandma has outlived. My grandmama has outlived the gangbanging that I've seen in my community. You get what I'm saying? With their strong-mindedness. They sat there and outlived everything that happened and determined the ultimate destiny of what went on in that community. You follow? Because they had a strong mind. Bottom line. So the strong minds are the ones that will determine the future of our community. Now, strong-mindedness ain't just about having knowledge and information. I'm going in. Because you can keep wavering. If you're addicted to information, you could find out something new that could be the difference from everything that you think is true. And you think you're learning something, but you have a weak mind. People think they're getting more knowledge, but what's happening is they really are degenerating mentally under the auspices of gaining knowledge. Well, I stand for the black man coming into power today. Well, I learned something else, and we love everybody. People power, everybody power. That's what I learned. You ain't learned shit. You have a degenerative mind. You have degenerated from a potent position of understanding, and position to a weak one. Say, well, I think, we all should be vegetarians and we should eat healthy. And then all of a sudden tomorrow, we can eat pork. You ain't coming in no goddamn knowledge. You have a weak-ass mind. So weak-mindedness has to be separated from the quest for knowledge and information. Because I see it all the time. When what can you create if you have a weak mind? You saying I'm learning. Okay, I see you learning, but what are you creating? You're not creating learning. You're learning to create. So whatever you're learning should be that which creates and adds foundation and momentum to what you're creating. But if what you're learning is making you change what you're creating, then you don't stand for nothing. Do you understand what I'm saying? And they learn that I'm not creating anything and I'm confused as hell. That's what you learn? I've learned that I don't know what to do. I went from standing for something to goddamn it, now I'm scratching my head, falling for everything. So no real learning happened. Nothing was learned. We learn from standing in a position and having the experience of being in that position for long periods of time. Then we are learning. We're learning how to be in that position. What's all relevant to that position. How to stand in it against this, that, and everything. How to fortify. What the essence it is. How to pull it apart and put it back together. That's learning, right? We learn by being creators. Not parrots. Not by being empty-minded. Some people, the whole of the abyss of the lack of knowledge in their head is infinite. It could never be filled. If you gave them a library and said you ain't got nothing else to do but read 100 books for read books for the rest of your life, it would still be 99% empty. Their head. Do you hear me? When they get 99, they still will be unsure. If I could have read that one other book, it would have all come clear to me. No, it ain't going to come clear to you. It's not going to come clear until we choose to be clear. Clarity is a choice, not a product of knowledge of what we're going to be clear about. Clarity is a choice. We can choose to be clear about something and stand for that. If our minds is strong enough to do it. And that's a challenge for each and every individual within themselves. If I say, I'm going to stand on this and I'm going to stand for that. And I'm not going to do this and I'm not going to do that. How strong is my mind to not do that? Isn't that what it's going to boil down to? Because I can say it, but if I'm mentally weak, then there's social pressure. Like they say in school, peer pressure, right? Caves in on me, and I end up doing that which is not liking to what I set out to do or what I feel like I should be doing. That's weakness, not flexibility. Flexibility is when all of your movement reinforces your goals, reinforces your objectives. Now, when you step off of them, that ain't flexibility. That's weakness. When we set out to do something and we leave it incomplete and don't do it and change our direction, that's weak. That's not flexibility. So what am I saying here? That black supremacy is for the strong-minded. So when you talk about the strong-minded, it sounds individualistic. Just a little bit. And it is. That is the individualism in black supremacy. Not materialism, not capitalism, but strong-minded person. You can't escape the individualistic of being a strong-minded individual. That means that you got people saying, we're looking for change, and let's all get together and come up with an idea and see what everybody wants and what everybody thinks. And we somehow go beyond us standing for anything. We don't have to stand for nothing. It's all about the group. What does the group think? How does the group feel? That's weak-minded. Because in the end of the day, it's going to be about what do you stand for as an individual. So we think we're being democratic. And we're being compassionate and considerate of others with that position. But you know what we're doing? We're being weak-minded. If we say, okay, well, as black supremacists, we know and we have experienced that these actions are not consistent with black supremacy. Somebody come along and argue that. Well, I don't know. I think this, and then we all should come together and organize this and do it this way. We should put this together, do it like that. And we say, well, maybe we should consider and think about that. Not assessing that or evaluating that based upon what our principles are. Do you understand what I'm saying? Just as a democratic consideration, think tank, you understand? Not as a real assessment of how this relates to what we stand for. And usually that happens because we don't stand for a damn thing. And what we thinking we stand for, we don't stand for it. And we find that out when we come up against either the forces of resistance or the forces of influence. Do y'all hear me? There are two forces. The forces of resistance is when that which is the opposite, complete opposite of what you're doing comes against you. That's the forces of resistance. Because the opposite of what you're doing do exist no matter what you say. It exists. People with opposition, people that disagree, that have a whole nother opinion, they exist. There's no way to make a democracy out of that. There's no way to legislate that out and to smooth that over. That exists for every position in the universe based upon Hermetic principles. Right? There's an equal and opposite position in the universe for any position to exist. And if it's not, it is no position at all. So the opposite exists to every position. And when you meet the total opposite, that is your resistance. You follow? Which you run into that. That is confronted. The opposite of non-capitalism and not being on it is those who are on capitalism. And pushing it and standing for that. Not just confused about economic situations and politics and how money goes, but actually that's their position. That's the opposite. And what happens when we meet that resistance? Oh, I don't know. Oh, then you find out what you stand for. And then the other forces are forces of influence. Those that are not really clear. They're not standing for the opposite of what you stand for. They're just not clear. But in a state of their unclarity, they have some manner of influence. You follow? They're charismatic. They're articulate. You follow what I'm saying? They're seductive. In their attitude, while not being really clear either way, but just in the moment. Why don't we just do this? No principles, but of great influence. And this happens, I can break it down. We say we know we're not spending no money with these businesses. We're not supporting these dens of demons that you call clubs. We're not dealing with any of that. Then the forces of influence come. Girl, it don't matter. Let's go on out. It ain't nothing. Not opposite of what you are about. They're not opposite. Because they're not really taking either position. If you say, no, we ain't going to do that, they're not going to do it. So that's not opposite. But influential, though, in that state of confusion or transition. Or on the fence. They make fence straddling look very, very attractive. You follow what I'm saying? That's influential. And we fall for that. Because the way it's presented to us is beautiful. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's nice. It's presented, well, that ain't really nothing. We still, you right there, you are destroying what we're doing. The brother, Supreme Black Guy, said it good earlier. You either wet or dry. There's no in between. No in between. You can't be on both sides. If you are, you're weak-minded. You understand what I'm saying? And we scared sometimes to tell people that they're weak-minded. You know why? Because we're weak-minded. So we ain't going to tell them. We're going to make them still believe that they have a strong mind by arguing with them on that which we know is absolutely, emphatically incorrect. There is no way you can science that up. There's no science that can be applied to what they are doing, besides that they're operating out of having a weak mind. And how do we challenge people to have